guys. Wow, way over there too. Well, hey, we're so excited to be here tonight. I cannot thank you enough for being here. As you heard, I am Mr. Trump's apprentice winner from Iowa, and I want to let you know I put my faith and trust in Donald Trump 11 years ago, and he changed my life for the better. So if you all go out and make sure you vote for this man, he will make America great again. I promise you that. But before we get started, let's kick things off with a word of prayer. And I'd like to invite up Pastor Brad Sherman from the Solid Rock Church in Coralville, Iowa.
Would you join with me for just a moment and quiet our hearts as we pray? Father, we acknowledge that you are the one who says to a nation, a city, and a people, be revived and be rebuilt. And we acknowledge that you are the one who raises up men to perform your desire in the earth, often without them even knowing or being aware when you've been leading them by their right hand. You choose and prepare people to perform and carry out your purposes in the earth, and you use those whom you choose to subdue nations, to open doors that no man can shut, to make crooked places straight, and to open the hidden treasures and riches of secret places. Father, I believe you have raised up Donald Trump for this purpose, causing the omens of boasters to fail, making fools out of diviners, causing wise men to draw back, and turning their knowledge into foolishness. Therefore, I pray your protection and blessing on Donald Trump and his family and the campaign and all who are involved. And I pray that you would guide him, causing him to trust in you with all of his heart, leaning not on his own understanding, that he would acknowledge you in all of his ways, and that you would order his steps and direct his paths. We pray that you would preside over this evening, and we pray that you would bless this nation, causing it to be like a watered garden, like a spring of waters that does not fail, that you would rebuild the waste places and the foundations of past generations, repairing the breach, and restoring the streets as safe places in which to dwell. Father, we humbly approach you tonight. We pray these things through the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. And since you're already standing, would you please remove your caps, and we will have the Pledge of Allegiance by Representative Pat Grassley.
Thank you. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we will have our national anthem sang to us today by Carrington Moore.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of
Keep it going for Carrington. Woo! Nice. Beautiful, beautiful voice. I'd like to introduce our first speaker this evening, Governor Terry Branstad. I know. Very exciting. Governor Branstad was Iowa's longest-serving governor and has weathered some of Iowa's worst economic turmoil. During the farm crisis of the 1980s, while helping lead the state resurgence to a booming economy in 1990. At the end of his tenure, he enjoyed record employment at an unprecedented $90 million budget surplus. We could go on, but he's behind me and he wants to take the stage. So he's a very humble man. I'm proud to know this man and call him our longest serving governor, Governor Terry Branstad.
Thank you. Wow, what a great crowd. I am glad to be back in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I was just here yesterday with Alliant Energy to announce a $1 billion investment they're making in wind energy to continue to provide reliable, low-cost, renewable energy and more jobs in Iowa. I'm proud to be back. We're not done yet. We are working hard every day to try to bring more business and jobs to Iowa. I'm proud to be in this city, which is a big food processing place, one of the biggest in the whole United States. And of course, with Rockwell Collins, you're very big in avionics. So this is an important industrial city. And you know, the working people of America have been ignored too long by this administration. By Obama, the DC establishment, the media establishment, and we know it's the hardworking people of the Midwest in this country that are the backbone of America, along with the farmers that produce the food that we need to feed the world. I'm proud to be your governor. You know, the one problem we've got is we've got an administration in Washington that's working against us instead of for us, imposing taxes and regulations and crushing our opportunity to grow and to increase income for Iowa workers and to create more income and more opportunities for Iowa farmers. But that's all going to change when we get a new president that's going to make America great again, Donald Trump. There's a whole lot of new people that are here. And the reason why I'm confident that Donald Trump's going to win Iowa and win this election is because there's a whole lot of ignored working class people that are tired of what's going on and want a new direction for our country. Thanks for being here. Help is on the way.
Isn't he wonderful? Yeah, he's the best. I was very proud to go to the convention and have Governor Branstad lead all of our Iowa delegates to get 30 votes cast for Donald Trump from the state of Iowa, so that was awesome. Now for our next guest, Senator Joni Ernst. I know. It gets better, I know. Growing up on a farm in Montgomery County, Joni Ernst quickly learned the value of hard work and service to others. These are the same Iowa values Joni has fought her entire life to promote and protect. From graduation from Iowa State, Joni joined the U.S. Army Reserves, then the Iowa National Guard. From 2003 to 2004, she served as company commander during Operation Iraqi Freedom, where her unit was tasked with running convoys through Kuwait and southern Iraq. In 2004, Joni was elected to office as Montgomery County Auditor, where she worked hard to protect the hard taxpayers' money and reduce government waste. In 2011, she was elected to the Iowa State Senate, where she helped turn Iowa's $900 million deficit into a $1 billion surplus. I know. On November 4th, Joni was elected with 52% of the ballot share to represent Iowans in the United States Senate. Joni is the first woman elected to serve in federal office from the state of Iowa and is the first female combat veteran to serve in the United States Senate. I know. In November 2015, after more than 23 years of military service, Joni retired as Lieutenant Colonel in the Iowa Army National Guard. Would you please help me welcome the one and only Senator Joni Ernst?
Thank you, Cedar Rapids! God bless you all. Standing room only. I love it. Thank you for coming out today and supporting Donald Trump. Are we going to do it this fall? Thank you so much. I am extending my greetings for Senator Chuck Grassley as well. Grassley works, folks. He's out there right now working for you. So thank you. He's working against that overregulation from the federal government, so he couldn't join us today. But I want to thank you and make sure you go out and support him this fall as well. Now, part of my bio is very important to me. That's the military aspect. And so I thank all my veterans that are here with us today. God bless you and thank you for your service from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Truly, so many people have asked me, Joni, how is it that you came to be in the military? And I tell the story about when I was at Iowa State University. Between my freshman and my sophomore years of college, I had the opportunity to go on an agricultural exchange to Ukraine while it was part of the Soviet Union. And while I was there, in the evenings, we would get together and talk with the people on that collective farm. And remember, agricultural exchange. But what did they want to talk about? They asked us what it was like to be an American, what it was like to be free, what it was like to have the freedoms, the liberties, and the opportunities that we do as Americans. And that made such an impression on me. When I got back to Iowa State University, I decided it is not enough for me to simply enjoy these protections, our freedoms, and the opportunities. I have to do something to protect it. So I joined the United States military. Now, and thank you. And that honestly has been one of the biggest honors of my life, serving with some of the greatest servicemen and women that our country has to offer. But why am I here today? Why am I on this stage? It is because our freedoms, our liberties mean so much to me. And we need a strong national security and somebody that understands we need to protect our nation. Who is that? And you know what? That's right. USA. Thank you. Thank you so much. And you know who is not fit to lead? Hillary Rodham Clinton. Thank you. Our servicemen and women cannot fail us, and they do not fail us. They do not fail us as Americans, but Hillary Rodham Clinton has failed them. She has failed. She has failed our servicemen and women. She has failed us. She has failed us. And I tell you, she is not fit to serve as our commander-in-chief. The policies of Hillary Rodham Clinton. Take a look at Libya, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan. Failed policies that have created safe havens for terrorists. We cannot allow her to occupy that very important office in the White House. With Hillary Clinton, it is all about her. It is all about her. When you know what, folks? It should be about you. It should be about you. It should be about the greatest nation on the face of this planet, and that is the United States of America. And what makes the United States of America? It is all of you. So I believe in protecting America and her great interests all around the world. And that's why I am here on this stage to lend my support to a gentleman that has given voice to millions of Americans who felt that they have been disenfranchised for years. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. So, folks, let's get out this fall and let's make sure we make it happen, because we cannot have Hillary Clinton in the White House. God bless you all. God bless you. Thank you so much, Cedar Rapids. Thank you.
And our next speaker, I never knew there was anybody who was more energetic than me, but our next speaker is Jeff Kaufman, chairman of the Republican Party of Iowa. Chairman Kaufman served in the Iowa House of Representatives from 2005 to 2013, including 6 years in leadership positions. During his tenure in the Iowa House, he developed a record as a fiscal conservative, Second Amendment defender, and a tireless advocate of property rights. Kaufman worked with his colleagues to turn around the state's fiscal house after financial mismanagement by the administration of former Democratic Governor Chet Culver. Kaufman is a seventh-generation livestock farmer. Currently, he is a member of the Cedar County Board of Supervisors and chairman of the Republican Party of Iowa. Would you please help me welcome Chairman Jeff Kaufman? Hey, there you are.
Welcome, Lynn County. I hereby declare Lynn County Donald Trump County. Last January, I made a speech in Muscatine, and I told Donald Trump, I told everybody, in fact, I told the country, because the papers carried it, that if Donald Trump won the nomination, the Republican nomination, the Republican Party of Iowa would be behind him 1,000%. I've changed my mind. The Republican Party is going to be behind him 10,000%. And I would be remiss if, as the chairman of the Republican Party, if I didn't say to every Democrat that's in here and every independent that's in here, welcome. If you're voting for Trump, you're part of our team. Welcome. The reason that we're here today, the reason that Donald Trump is going to be able to address you today, is because it was the end of a process. The Republican process, listen, We listened to the grassroots. There were people that didn't necessarily want us to, but the Republican Party did. And you folks told us loud and clear, the person you want in the White House is Donald J. Trump, and he's our nominee. And contrast that. Just contrast that with what you just saw with the Democrats. They have 2,500 superdelegates, so they can put their foot on the scale and move it towards one way or the other. And then all of this nonsense about reconfiguring and making sure that Hillary Clinton got it. Listen, folks, the Republican Party listens to the grassroots. The process the Democrats used was a crooked process. But then again, I think it's perfect for crooked Hillary. It's nice to know there are a few other people in this room besides me that's got an opinion or two. You know, we can concentrate on Hillary. We can concentrate on what she's done with ISIS, more likely what she hasn't done with ISIS, the debt, the health care, the nuclear deal. But here's the thing, folks. This is a serious, serious time. And at some point in time, all of you, all of us, are going to have a very serious discussion with some loved one. Maybe it's a grandchild yet to be born. Maybe it's a neighbor. Maybe it's a niece or a nephew 10, 20, 30 years down the line. But at some point, they're going to look you in the eye and say, what did you do to stop this nonsense? Folks, that time is now. It's 2016. We need you. We can turn this thing around. We can turn this thing around. We will turn this thing around. But here's the thing. I don't want us to just be against Hillary, although there's a whole lot not to love. The bottom line is, I want us to be in favor of Donald Trump. Now, we can talk about his business acumen. We can talk about his success, because listen, folks, as successful as he is, he can tell a lobbyist, no way, I don't need your contribution. That's what Donald Trump can do. And we need somebody with a frank talk. We need somebody that will look at us. Folks, here's the bottom line. We have Iran on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon. We have Benghazi, and we have families that are still mourning. It's not time. I don't care what Donald Trump tweets. We need him in the White House, period. Let's put this in perspective. I wish I could hug every single one of you, and I'm not a hugger. Bottom line is this. Bottom line is this. I'm 7th generation in this wonderful state. There is no way I would ever recommend and plead and ask and fight to have you folks vote for Donald Trump if I didn't believe, and I don't mean in here, I mean in here, that Donald Trump was not going to have this state, this wonderful state, in his mind when he acts. And here's the thing, if you've listened to him, almost every speech that I'm hearing now, especially those in the Midwest, he is mentioning Iowa. There is no doubt in my mind, whether it be our first in the nation status, or whether it be our agricultural economy, or whether it be rural Iowa, there is no doubt in my mind that when Donald Trump is in the White House, Iowa is going to be in his head, and it's going to be in his heart, and we win when that happens. Right here, we win. So the bottom line is this. I want to ask you a couple of questions before I lose my voice. It's going to be gone by November, because we're going to do this thing. We're going to do it. Here's my questions for you. Do you want to make America a fiscally sound country again? Do you? Do you want to make America safe again? Do you? Do we want to make America work again? Folks, do we want to make America Do we want to make America great again? Do we? We're going to do it. Join me. Join me. Join me.
Did I tell you he was fired up? Well, would you all please help me in welcoming my colleague, Stephen Miller, Senior Policy Advisor on the Donald Trump campaign.
How are we doing tonight, Cedar Rapids? Are you excited to be the state that sends Donald J. Trump to the White House? Now, tonight, as you know, the other candidate in this race, Hillary Clinton, is giving her convention speech. She's giving her convention speech. And I'm sure that it's a great point. I'm sure that her team of writers and her focus groups and her pollsters and her lobbyists and her consultants spent a lot of time coming up with her new slogan. You know, her old slogan was, "I'm with her." And then when Donald Trump said, "I'm with you," she dropped that slogan. So they're rolling out a new slogan tonight, and it's "Stronger Together." Now it's interesting because Hillary Clinton's slogan is "Stronger Together," but of course to be stronger together, we have to put Americans first, don't we? If we're going to be stronger together, we have to protect all of our citizens equally, don't we? And so there's a lot of people left out of Hillary Clinton's America. So when she says "stronger together," who's inside her circle? Who's inside her club? Well, we know that Wall Street stands strong with Hillary Clinton. We know the big banks that have filled her bank account with millions of dollars stand strong with her. We know that all of the special interests stand strong with Hillary Clinton. The people who gave Bill and Hillary $150 million stand strong. But millions and millions of people aren't part of Hillary Clinton's America. For instance, the thousands of families who suffered from crime and violence because of our open border, they don't count in Hillary Clinton's America. Everyone who's worked at a factory that shut down doesn't count in Hillary Clinton's America. Anybody in this country who doesn't have a lobbyist or enough money to hire a lobbyist isn't part of Hillary Clinton's America. In Hillary Clinton's America, you're only as valuable as your bank account. In Hillary Clinton's America, you're only as valuable as the size of the check that you can write to Hillary Clinton. In Hillary Clinton's America, if you're famous or important, or you're a registered lobbyist, then you're part of her vision of togetherness. But if you're a family that's struggling to get a raise but can't because of our immigration system, you don't matter to her. If you're someone who's lost your job because of NAFTA or will lose it because of TPP, you don't matter to her. If you are a coal miner in this country, you are not part of Hillary Clinton's America. If you are a steel worker in this country, you are not part of Hillary Clinton's America. If you are a law enforcement officer who wants to be treated fairly and with respect, you are not part of Hillary Clinton's America. If you are a veteran who has served this country with honor and wants the doctor of your choice, you're not part of Hillary Clinton's America. Hillary Clinton's America is a country of elites, a country run by elites, a country run for the exclusive benefit of elites at the expense of every single person in this room and every person across this country tonight. So yes, we expect that those same elites and the pundits and the media executives will have flowing and wonderful, glowing things to say about Hillary Clinton's speech. But the hard-working people of this country, the people who've served this nation by raising their kids, by paying their taxes, by following the rules, and in many cases by fighting our wars and keeping our streets safe, those people are left out in the cold and in the dark. They are not part of Hillary Clinton's America, and they never will be. But those patriotic citizens, those hard-working people, whether they be first generation or seventh generation or 10th generation. But they're Americans. And all of those people, united by that bond of citizenship, though they are not part of Hillary Clinton's America, they are the beating heart and soul of Donald Trump's America. And folks, when you send Donald J. Trump to the White House, he is going to fight for you. He is going to win for you. He is going to deliver for you. He is going to fight for our police. He's going to fight for our steel workers. He's going to fight for our coal workers. He's going to fight for every parent in our inner city who's also not part of Hillary Clinton's America. Because Hillary Clinton's America offers nothing but poverty for the inner cities. It offers nothing but suffering for Baltimore, Chicago, and Detroit, because they're not part of her America either. The only people who matter in Hillary Clinton's America are the people living in Washington, D.C., who are writing the rules for their benefit, the celebrities in Hollywood who are mugging for the cameras at the DNC and don't care about what life is like for you and everyone else out there in this country. But the good news is that change is coming. Change is coming for all of you. A new America built on the timeless values of our founders' America, built on the timeless values of citizenship, equality for all, respect and dignity for everybody. An America built on these enduring, timeless principles will be renewed, and all of you in this America, in this great and glorious America, will have the same exact vote as Hillary Clinton's lobbyists and special interests. Your voice will matter just as much. It won't matter how much money is in your bank account. All that will matter is what is in your heart. All that will matter is who you are and that you love this country. So let me ask you this question. Are you ready to go out and go to work and send a warrior for the working class to the White House? Are you ready? Are you ready, Iowa, to deliver real change for America? Are you ready to send to the White House a man who's going to put America first, last, and always? Is the state of Iowa ready to elect as their president in 2016, Donald J. Trump? Thank you, God bless you, and God bless this state.
Everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. You know, they have a little thing going on right now in Philadelphia, but I want to be right here. Look at what we have. Look. The problem they have is they have people that aren't telling the truth about where our country is and where we stand. They're just not saying, you know, they're giving it rose-colored glasses, right? They're not talking about radical Islamic terrorism. They're not talking about the borders that are like Swiss cheese. They're not talking about all of the problems we have with trade, and we know trade very well because Iowa knows trade. And by the way, speaking of trade, one of the great traders, one of the great people, you have your governor, the all-time record. Where is Terry? The governor is here someplace. The governor is here, and he has been an amazing, he's become a friend of mine over the years. We've really gotten to know each other, and I want to tell you, he is some terrific man and some terrific governor. So, Terry, thank you very much. And we have a superstar
Joni Ernst. Joni Ernst. And I don't know where Joni, this is a big crowd of people. I don't know. She's in here someplace. But with a great family, an unbelievable family. Oh, there. An unbelievable family, and it's great. Thank you, Joni. Thank you for everything. Thank you. Thank you for everything. And I want to thank, this is some crowd of people. This is some crowd. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We love you too, man. So, we're going to make America great again. We are going to have an election on November 8th, and that's going to be something special. We have now a movement that nobody's ever seen before in this country. Never happened. You know, they've had movements where somebody came in and won a state, or did well with a state, or came in second in Iowa, and they make the history books. But this is one where Bill O'Reilly said it's the single greatest political phenomena he's ever seen. That's pretty good. Where many other of the pundits have said the same exact thing. And the way I look at it is a little bit differently. If I didn't think we were going to win, or if I knew I wasn't going to win, and I know we are going to win, I wouldn't even waste my time, because if we don't go all the way, you know, I got a call from a big reporter, said, "Congratulations, Mr. Trump. What you've done has never been done before." I said, "What have I done? What have I done?" He said, "Nobody's ever done what we've done." It's a movement. It's an incredible movement. He said, "Nobody's done it before." I said, "What have I done?" "I've done nothing, because unless we win all the way, it's like a waste of time. It's a waste of money. It's a tremendous waste of energy. I mean, this takes energy. Okay? I just left some great people in a very good other place in Iowa, right? You saw that. And we had a good time, and we had the same kind of a crowd. I mean, it's an amazing thing. And people come out. And the only problem we have is the place, as big as this room is, the places aren't even big enough. And you have a lot of people outside still pouring in. Because they really want, you know, when I was at the convention, and I think, by the way, I think the people of Cleveland, they did an incredible job 2 weeks ago. And I think, by the way, my wife and children did an incredible job. They did an incredible job. They did an incredible job. It was beautiful to see. It was beautiful to see. So what we're now looking at, and tonight I'll go home, I guess, and watch. I guess. Are we going to watch tonight? I don't know. I don't know. So let's do this. Let's do this. On November 8th, let's just win. That's the best. November 8th. We're going to win. All right? November 8th. So a lot of things have happened, and a lot of things are being said. And I watched last night, and boy, do you need a thick skin. How would you like to be me watching that garbage last night? Man. I mean, I was hit by every side. And I told the story just a little while ago. I wanted to hit back. I was going to hit back. I was going to say, take each one on. I know every one of them. I was going to take each one on. A friend of mine who's a governor, great guy, great politician, but a great guy. I said, you know, they said so many things about me, most of which, not all of it, a little bit of truth there, I guess, but most of which is a lie. I said, I'm going to hit this one. I'm going to hit that one. And they said, friend, he said, Donald, don't bother. Nobody cares. Don't bother. He said, you only have one person that you want to go after. And that's crooked Hillary Clinton. That's crooked Hillary Clinton. True. And I said to him, I said, yeah, but they said things that were terrible and I don't like it. And they have an audience and I don't like it. And they lied. They told so many different lies. And I said, look, I have to, for instance, as an example. I was going to say, I was going to say friend or foe. It turns out to be a friend. Turned out to be a friend. Friend or foe? I always point, I say friend or foe. But some of our friends are a little bit noisy, right? But that's great. Great. It's so good. It's so good. Do we have a great country? Right? We have a great country. But we're going to make it greater than ever before. We're going to make it safe. We're going to build up our military. It's depleted. We're going to take care of our great veterans. We're going to repeal and replace Obamacare. We are going to save our Second Amendment, which is under siege. We're going to get rid of Common Core, a disaster, and we're going to bring education locally. And you know what? We're going to strengthen up our borders. We're going to do so many things. We're going to make great trade deals. You know, one of the reasons I got elected, because everybody talked about Indiana. First of all, Mike Pence is doing a great job. Great guy. As soon as I met him, I felt good about him. I felt really good about him. But I went to Indiana, and they had an air conditioning company. You know who it is, right? Carrier. And they announced, he says Oreo. Well, that too, right? But what happens is but it's only them. I mean, look, I could talk about 1,000 companies. They're leaving our country. They're moving to Mexico. They're leaving our country. They're going to other places. We're not going to let it happen any longer. They're firing their employees. Then they make their product. They sell it across the border, which, by the way, will now be a very strong border. They sell it across the border. They sell it to the same place that they left. And nobody benefits, I will tell you, in this country. We end up with unemployment. We end up with no taxes. Mexico gets our business. All right? Oh, we're going to build a wall. 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 And it'll be a big wall. It'll be a beautiful wall. It'll be a wall that works. It'll be I don't know if you saw, you probably did, but I got 16,500 Border Patrol agents endorsed me recently. First time in their history that they've ever endorsed a presidential candidate. And I have to tell you, their job is much easier having it the way. Right now, they just stand there and people walk right through, right? With me, they have to work. They got to say, sorry, folks, that's enough, we're not going to do this. But they endorsed me. And I asked them when they called. They were such great people. I've known them because I've been there. I went to Laredo. I went to a lot of places that people wouldn't sort of expect to see. And it can be a little bit rough. But these are great people. These are tough people, too. And they're great Americans. They love our country. And what happens is, I said, very nicely, I said, how important is the wall? They said, Mr. Trump, you have no idea how important the wall is. It's a tool that we absolutely need. We've got to stop the drugs from pouring in. We've got to stop people from coming in illegally. Now, with that being said, all of us, with that being said, we have people coming into our country. We want them to come into our country, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in legally. We want them to come in. But they have to come in legally. Now, if you know what's going on, you saw where this beloved priest in France, his throat was cut and killed instantaneously. And he was loved. He was loved. And he was killed in France. You saw what happened a week before that. You saw what happened a week before that You saw what happens in Germany. You see what's going on. The world is crazy. And I just see this article right here. Right here. Look at that. Cain, that's the choice that Hillary made. How bad a choice. By the way, how bad a choice is this if you think? She's trying to get the support of Bernie Sanders, who's exhausted. By the way, Bernie, you know where Bernie is now? He's sleeping. He's exhausted. Hey, who can blame him? I mean, the guy, I was surprised, though, because in terms of legacy, there's no movement like we have. Nobody has our audiences. Nobody has our crowd. Nobody has even close. In terms of legacy, however, he would have had a far greater impact and legacy had he not made a deal. Really. He made a deal with the devil. He got nothing for making the deal. And he got a vice presidential candidate that was against, like, most of the things that he was talking about, which is really great disrespect. That's why I actually think a lot of the Bernie Sanders people we're going to get. We're going to have the Bernie Sanders people. I really believe that. More than people understand. And we're going to have a tremendous Democrat crossover. We're going to have a tremendous crossover of Democrats. And we saw that in New York. We saw it in a couple of places. In New York was interesting. So I win New York in like a landslide. Isn't it nice to know for you? Like, I know the people of Iowa well, and they know me well, but the people of New York really know me, and I won in a massive landslide. Isn't that nice? When they know you and you win? I mean, you know, do you ever see these guys where they know you and they lose? That's not good. So I won like in this big, beautiful landslide. But we're going to have something very special here. I think that, I don't know, there's something about it. And I don't know if you know this. I'm a big customer of John Deere, okay? Big. Million. Sadly, I spend millions of dollars with John Deere. And it's a great company. But what happened, and I just see this, so it says Cain urges president to allow more Syrian refugees to resettle in the United States. Okay. Today, U.S. Senator Tim Kaine, a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Armed Services Committee, wants to have more, think of it, more Syrian refugees pour into the country. Now, Hillary Clinton, you won't believe this, Obama is letting them come in by the thousands. We don't know who they are, where they come from. There's no real documentation. You can't really prove it. So Obama is letting them come in by the thousands. Hillary Clinton wants 550%. You know, the press likes to correct me. So I've been saying 500% more. And they said, I'm wrong. I said, oh, here we go again. I'm wrong. And they said the real number is 550%. I couldn't believe it. Can you believe it? Hillary Clinton wants 550% more to come into our country. We don't know what the hell is going on. And by the way, I spoke to the governor. He's not thrilled, I want to tell you. But you know what they do? They put them all over the country. Nobody even knows where they're being put. So we don't even know what's going to happen. But all we know is we watch these people with the slashings and the throat cuttings and the cutting off of the heads and the drowning in steel cages, where they put them in steel cages and they drown. This has not happened since medieval times. You know, I loved history. And you'd read history and you'd see medieval times, rough stuff, okay? Medieval times where they chopped off the heads. Who ever heard of this stuff? All of a sudden, a few years ago, you saw it with a fine, wonderful young man. You know that. But all of a sudden, you see it again. And these are people, they have to be stopped. They have to be stopped. And they have to be stopped very, very strongly and very viciously if we have to. If we have to. I mean, I take a lot of heat. I take a lot of heat where they said during the debate to Ted Cruz, they said, what about waterboarding? Are you okay with it? And he had a hard time with that question. No, he had a hard time. That's a tough question because, you know, for them, for me, I'm not a politician. I say like it is. And they said, and he sort of didn't want to, smart guy, he didn't want to really get into that question. Then they asked me. I said, absolutely. I wouldn't even think about it. Absolutely. I said, don't even think about it. And for those people that say it doesn't work, and one of the reasons waterboarding, because they used to consider it short of torture, okay? In other words, short of torture. And that way they could get away with it. All of a sudden they ruled, of course, Obama's group ruled it's torture and you can't do it. But here's the thing. So they can chop off heads, right? They can drown people in steel cages. They can cut your throats. We can't waterboard. We're playing by different rules, okay? We're playing by different rules. Now, so they asked me about it. I say, no problem. No problem. You have to do it. Because they're chopping off heads, we can't waterboard. And you can just imagine these people from ISIS. They're sitting around eating. And they're talking about how many heads they chopped off, how many people they drowned, what animals they are, what animals. And they say, can you imagine in the United States waterboarding? Okay, waterboarding. Can you imagine? So we've got to start winning, folks. We don't win anymore. We're like the stupid people. We don't win anymore. We're being led by incompetent people. So I watched last night Obama talking about his world, a beautiful world, his beautiful world. He doesn't talk about radical Islamic terrorism. He doesn't talk about the fact that people don't want to fly in airplanes and that people don't want to go to theaters. He doesn't talk about what's going on. I have a friend. He goes to France every year. Like religious. He works. He wants to go to France. He loves France, right? So I call him up. I say, how was your trip this year to France? France? I don't go to France. He said, France is no longer France. What's happening, folks, is very, very serious. And if we're not smart, and if we're not tougher than hell, we're not going to be around so much longer. Don't kid yourselves. Don't kid yourselves. And I watched his speech last night talking about false employment rates, talking about things that aren't in the real world, but not talking about crime, not talking about shooting up policemen, because our policemen and our law enforcement professionals are vital to our country, are vital. Vital. And they weren't going to have them on stage. And then I shouldn't have done it. I should have waited till the fourth day. I made a mistake. I should have waited till they were finished. But I started saying, they're not showing our law enforcement. They're not showing. Well, today I think they're bringing some on stage. It's like the other day, they didn't have the American flag on stage, right? Right? Think of it. They spend millions of dollars on the stage. By the way, I thought our stage in Cleveland was much more beautiful. I also liked my children better than their stars. Dude. They did a good job. My wife and children did a great job, I'll tell you. They did a great job. They did a great job. I was very proud of them. And we had a great convention. It was an amazing period of time. And actually, I guess you saw, we got, meaning we got, because it's really us. I view myself, and I say it all the time, but I view myself as a messenger. A very talented messenger, but a messenger. A messenger nevertheless. But we got one of the biggest bumps in many years. So now we're leading. We're leading in Iowa. We're leading in Pennsylvania. We're leading in Florida big. We're leading in Ohio. We're leading. And a poll just came down from the Los Angeles Times. I think it's 47-40 nationwide we're leading. So look, and they're going to get a bump because I watched last night. I must tell you, I shouldn't tell you this, but I watched, and I saw lies. And how would you like to be me watching television? Every one of these guys, I mean, professional politicians and others, they get up and they go crazy. I mean, we have the worst mayor in the United States, de Blasio. who's the worst mayor in the United States, like not even a contest. And he's saying, I don't even know this guy. I don't even know him. But he's a disaster, if you know what's going on. He's a disaster. I won't say it because I love New York, so I'm not going to say it. But he's knocking me. Now, what happened, though, is a friend of mine called me because I was going to really hit each one of these people, some of whom I know pretty well. And they treat me so nice. Oh, Don, how are you? They give me hugs, kisses. And they're up saying, he is a tyrant. He's a horrible human being. He's the worst thing that's ever happened. And I said, but he was hugging me and kissing me and talking to me. And I thought he loved me. In fact, a couple of them went up and I said, well, that one I like because there's no way that one can say anything bad about me. Oh, it was brutal. Then I had a guy get up. Little guy gets up, knocked the hell. I said, I want to hit him back so hard. I'm going to hit this guy. I'm going to hit him so hard. You have no idea. And I get a call from a friend of mine who's a governor of a big state and a very talented guy, great politician, but a talented guy. And I say, you know, I'm going to hit some of these guys that hit me last night. He said, Donald, don't do it. I said, what? He said, don't do it, Donald. All you do is one thing. He just said, do it. I sort of think so, too. Yeah. No, but he said, you know, this is a professional politician who's smart. He said, Donald, you have one person to beat, nobody else. And he said to me, crooked Hillary Clinton. He said to me, crooked. That name is really sticking. He said, you beat crooked Hillary, don't punch down. He used the expression, don't punch down. Now, I don't know if he's right. So I said, I promise I won't say de Blasio's the worst mayor in the country. But I wanted to hit these people, and then I sat back, I said, he's probably right. What do you think? Is he right or wrong? Tell me. I know the rough guy in the back is saying he's wrong. No, go hit him. I don't know. We'll see because, and you know, such lies. And my wife is sitting there and she's watching and she's saying, wow. And she knows some of them. And she sees how they act toward me when they see me. And she said, how can he possibly say this? So it's an incredible thing. And then I have to do after, this is why I think we'll stay together all night because I don't want to really go home and watch that crap, okay? So anyway, and so we had a tremendous bump. We're now in first place, and we're leading most of the states. We're leading, you know, most of the states that they call very important states in terms of winning. And we want to win because, you know, our whole theme is Make America Great Again. Make America Great Again. And I'm adding now because of when you look at Nice. How about Nice? How bad was that? When you look at the father, the priest. When you look at the things that are going on. When you look at San Bernardino, where she comes in, probably radicalizes the guy, and they go and they kill 14 people. And by the way, if somebody in that room on the other side had a gun, right? Would have been a whole different story, folks. They were sitting there, no guns, no nothing. The only ones that had guns were the two wackos that did all the shooting. And they threw a party for the birth of their baby. They threw them a party, these people that they killed. They gave them a party honoring the birth of their baby. And then they went back and they killed everybody and many people in the hospital. Or Paris. How about Paris? The toughest gun laws in the world, Paris. Can't have a gun. Toughest in the world, right? They talk about gun laws. What it means is that you're sitting ducks. That's what it means. The toughest gun laws in the world. And they go and they kill 130 people. And I'll tell you, whether it's San Bernardino, Paris, Orlando, how about that? How bad was that? And in that one, they went in and he went in to kill gays. He went in to kill people in the gay community. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful. We've got to be so tough. We've got to be so strong. We've got to be so vigilant. We've got to be so vigilant. People see that there are problems. In San Bernardino, they had in their apartment bombs all over the floor. People saw that. Why didn't they report them? Why didn't they report them? They didn't do it because they were afraid it might be profiling. Now, you know who told them that? A lawyer. Say, oh, just pretend it's profiling. But that's all it is. A lawyer said that because you have to report. They knew you had to report, but they said profiling. If a community isn't going to report when they know something's going to happen, those people have to suffer the consequences. That's all there is to it. Because we are all sitting ducks. And we can't be sitting ducks. I know a lot of the people in the room, you're not sitting ducks, I'll tell you that. Okay? So we have to get smart, and we have to get very, very tough. And we can't let this stuff happen. We can't let it happen. Now, let me tell you a little bit. So when companies want to move out, more and more companies, I hate to tell you, as we're standing here, people are negotiating from Iowa, but from many other states. I mean, I know. They're negotiating to leave the country. Companies are negotiating to leave the country. They've been working on this deal so long, our politicians in Washington, they don't have a clue. Number one, the ones that do are fully taken care of by lobbyists and special interests, okay? So they're not going to do anything anyway because it works for them. It works the system. The system is broken. The system is rigged. And I'm the one that first came up with that term. Because when I won Louisiana, I saw that I was getting fewer delegates than the guys that came in second, third, and fourth. I said, what is this? What do I know? It's the first time I ever did it. So I said, wait a minute. I went to Louisiana. I didn't love the whole thing with the caucus here because I should have won here. I mean, if you didn't have caucus, I would have won Iowa too. I hate to tell you. But when somebody walks into that room and they're grabbed by a lot of people, oh, didn't you know this and that and that and that? Okay, I'll vote for that one. But so I sort of like, you know what I'm talking about too. But I came in second. I did well. But we would have won. And by the way, I hear we're going to really, will you do me a favor? Can I have a great victory in Iowa? Because I want to talk about Iowa. I want to talk about the great victory. And I hate to say this, in New Hampshire, which I won, and I wouldn't have won maybe if I didn't learn the business in Iowa. Now, in all fairness, I came in second. It was very funny. So I came in second, and a very good guy who now endorsed me, and he's been great. He's doing well in Florida. He's running for the Senate, Marco, right? Marco Rubio. But Marco came in third. I came in second. And they said, Trump suffers a humiliating loss. I mean, there are 17 people. I came in second, and I never did it before, right? But boy, did I get good after Iowa. Right? Boy, did I get good. I started just running that table. But it was funny. I learned a lot. I learned a lot in Iowa. And first of all, I learned politics a little bit shaky business there. And where's my man, Jeff? Jeff is so good, our leader. Where is Jeff? He's here, too. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. We're going to have such a victory. But, if you think. So, I'm in Iowa, and we're going to take Iowa, and I learn what's going on, and then I go to New Hampshire, and if I didn't spend all of the time dealing with all of the professionals that I was dealing with right here, some of whom are right now in the room, I absolutely wouldn't be standing here right now. But we have to win Iowa this time. No more seconds and no more stuff. Because what happened when I came in second, it was terrible. I came in second and I said, man, I thought I was going to win it because, 7 or 8 points up. And I really was going to win by more than that. And I thought I was going to win it. And I came in and the newspaper said, Trump suffers humiliating defeat. I'm second out of 17 people, right? I said, it's not like it was a disaster. But they said, Trump in Iowa suffers a humiliating defeat. Marco Rubio, who I now love, okay? It's true. And he's doing great in Florida. And he's going to win in Florida. Okay. Marco Rubio. So they say, Rubio comes in third. A star is born. Brilliant. Unbelievable. No, do you remember? Am I right? I said, wait a minute. I came in second and almost won. I was just this much. So I was humiliated. And Marco, a star was born. I said, what kind of a business is this? This is crazy. Right? You remember? Am I right? I'm not kidding. I went around for 2 months. Even after I won in New Hampshire, I kept going back to Iowa. I kept saying, what happened? But I will tell you, I learned a lot. And the people here are amazing. And it wasn't your fault. It was my fault. It was my fault because I did things that were not good, but I learned. You know what it's called? You have to learn, right? I never did it before. I never did this. Whoever thought I was going to be doing this, right? I never did it before. I never did it. So, thank you. Thank you. So we have the big one coming up, and when they tell me that what we've done has never been done before, remember what I said. If we don't win, you're wasting your time being here tonight. You could be home watching other than the convention. You could be doing... Seriously. We got to win. It's November 8th. You got to get everybody out there. We got to win. Now, look, just a couple of things. So I make statements to the press, and then I want to talk about the evangelicals, because the evangelicals were so great to me. Who's an evangelical in this room? All right. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Well, you're like Trump. You're not voting for anyone else, okay? I'll tell you why in a second. But NATO, I said, hey, wait. I like NATO. NATO's great. But people that are in NATO, the countries, you got 28, many of them aren't paying their way, right? So I say, we're not like a country that's rolling in dough. We owe almost $20 trillion. Nobody even knows what $1 trillion is. What's a trillion? Guys, I have a friend, he's worth $5 billion. He said, let's see, $1 trillion. How many millions? Blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of money. We owe $20 trillion. We're going to be $22 trillion pretty soon because of the omnibus budget, which was a disaster, right? So NATO. So I say NATO's good, but it's obsolete because it doesn't cover terrorism. Everybody laughs. Oh, what does Trump know? What does he know? 3 days later, they're saying Trump was a genius in coming up with that statement. 2 weeks later, they announced that they're going, this is after years, that they're going to develop a division for terrorism. And it's on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. Do they mention my name? Yeah, about like a quarter of a sentence. Trump was unhappy or something like that. But at least it's progress. Because we have common sense. I knew a little bit about NATO, but I've been in business. But we have common sense. We know what we're doing. I also said, same question, asked by Wolf Blitzer of CNN. I said, Wolf, here's the story. It's obsolete because it doesn't cover terrorism. People laughed. 3 days later, one of the top people in NATO said, ha, ha, ha. Then 3 days later says, Trump is right. Because sometimes you're so close to something. You know the expression, you can't see the forest for the trees. Right? That's it. They're so close. And now somebody comes along and says, hey, wait a minute. And now they develop, and it's on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, big story, NATO to develop. That's great. But you got to need different countries. It's a little, it's like different countries. But at least it's a good start. Then I said, because I heard this a long time ago, many of the countries that we protect in NATO, that we're involved with, aren't paying their bills. They're not paying. He says, pay up, suckers. We got a tough group. You're tough in Iowa. Just pay up. See, in the real estate business, we call them delinquent. Right? With the rent. They're delinquent with their rent. Got to pay up. Well, they're delinquent. Think of it. We're protecting these people, and we're protecting these countries, and they have the money, most of them. And if they don't, we do something. That's one thing. But they have the money. Some of them have a lot of money. But why should they pay up if nobody asks? Now, probably, here's some guy sitting at the head of the country, a small country that many of you have never heard of. And they come in, they say, listen, we owe the United States X dollars. And the head says, well, have they asked us for the money? No. Do they want the money? No. Put it away. Why should we pay it? If they're so stupid, why should we pay it? So I brought up the fact that you have many nations that don't pay. Now, here's the way the press covers it, because the press is so dishonest. Ugh. They say, headlines, Trump doesn't like NATO, will withdraw from NATO. They don't say anything about, pay your bills, right? Then we had Japan and Germany, Saudi Arabia, right? South Korea, 28,000 soldiers on the line. You wouldn't want to be there, right next to, boom, the madman. So you have 28,000 soldiers on the line, right? But you have all these countries. Now, who know, let's say go back 2 years, because I've been talking about this, but really, who knew that we were spending a fortune on protecting Japan? Did anyone in this room, like 2 years ago, did anyone know? Raise your hand seriously if you knew. All right, that's like 5%. Now people know. Hillary didn't know. She doesn't know anything. Hillary. Did you see where yesterday Hillary Clinton said yesterday, because her trade policies are a disaster, and TPP is not a good thing, I will tell you. It's bad. Trans-Pacific Partnership. But Hillary was totally for it. She said this is the gold standard. And then she saw me on television, I understand. And she heard me talking about it. She says, oh, boy, he's going to clobber me on that bed. You can't justify it because there's no monetary manipulation clauses. They have nothing. Plus, we should do deals with one country. You know, instead of all these countries, you got to see the lines. This way, 5,000 pages. And I guarantee you, nobody in our government read it. And those governments, they read every single word, every single comma. It's been analyzed. Every word. Is it plural? We have nobody to read. Just like Obamacare. Remember? Thousands of pages. Nobody in Congress read it. And now we have a mess. Now we have a mess. No, now we have a mess. So here's the story. So Trans-Pacific, we're going to reject. We've got to reject. It will be as bad as NAFTA and maybe worse, and it'll be very bad for Iowa. Now, just so you understand, I want trade. Somebody said back there, they said, do you like free trade or fair trade? I said, I can name 10 others. Here's what I like. I like trade where the United States makes a lot of money. That's what I want. It's very simple. To which some of these conservative eggheads, although I think I'm a lot smarter than they are, but we'll call them an egghead anyway. They'll write in the thing, Donald Trump is not a conservative. Why? Because I want to make money for the country. I want free trade. I want fair trade. I can name 10 different trades. There are many different forms. I don't want to use a name. And actually, they got a kick out of it. What is your trade policy? I want to make money for the country. That's all. It's very simple. In fact, I can see different policies for different countries because countries are different. Not every country is going to be treated the same. Countries are different. Some have lots of cash. Some don't have lots of cash. Some have unbelievable, valuable crops, or they have something that we want. There are lots of different deals you make. We want to make great deals for the United States. We're tired of being the stupid people. Okay, so 2 things. I'm going to leave you with these 2 things because this is important. It's only about 200 degrees in this room. The good news is when you finish, you lose 10 pounds. You know, it's great. But let me just tell you, whether you like Donald Trump or truly can't stand Donald Trump, you like Donald Trump, right? Look at all the women. Look at all the women in this room. Look at all the women. I don't know. They say I poll so well with men. Men love me. I'd rather have the women like me, to be honest. By far. But I think that's going to be a sleeper. Since when don't they like me and since when don't I? I have great respect for women, okay? And we're going to have safe borders and we're going to have strong military. We're going to have the things that they want. But look at all the women in this room, right? Look at all of them. And they have signs, women for Trump. And then I see that I'm not polling well with women. I think we're going to poll great with women, frankly. I really do. Am I going to do okay with the women? Yes, huh? And women do not like Hillary Clinton. That I can tell you. They don't like her. So I think we're going to do great. I think we're just going to do great we're doing very well now with Hispanics because I'm going to bring jobs back to this country. We're going to bring jobs back to this country. Thank you. And that's what people want. We want security. We want jobs. We want education. We want we got to have a strong military. We want our vets properly taken care of. We want certain things. Okay. But here's the story. If you really like Donald Trump, that's great. But if you don't, you have to vote for me anyway. You know why? Supreme Court judges. Supreme Court judges have no choice. Sorry. 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 You have no choice. Justices of the Supreme Court. So Judge Scalia was a great guy. He died. Now already we have ties, right? We have ties. You see it already happening. Now, the next president of this country, thank you, the next president, remember, the next president could have as many as 4 or 5, which would be a lot, but that would be an all-time record. But for whatever reason, it falls this way. We'll probably have 3, could be 4, could even be 5. If you had Crooked Hillary picking the judges, you will have, now remember this, if she picks the judges, you're going to end up with another Venezuela. You're going to be Venezuela. Large version, but you're going to be Venezuela. So I decided, because I was getting a little heat from conservatives, even though I'm more conservative than most of them, but I was getting heat because I haven't been a politician. And I came up with an idea. They said, supposing he puts in liberal judges. And I understand what they're saying. But they didn't do so well with the last 3 or 4 judges. You know, it's not like great. You look at what happened with Obamacare twice. Our conservative judge twice kept Obamacare. We could have killed Obamacare. Now we're stuck with it for a little while. But don't worry, it gets repealed. Don't worry. Can't make it anyway. It can't make it anyway because the increase is going to be so great in November. Now, don't let them change it to December. You're going to have an increase on your health care that is astronomical. You know, in Texas, going through Blue Cross Blue Shield, that is 60% increase. Okay? You're going to have a bigger increase. And what they want to do now, it's election defying, it's election changing. I don't think I want to change. I want to have the election right now, but it's election changing. We don't want them to change it so that the numbers come out in December, and they're trying to do that. You can't let that happen. So you're going to have such increases, it's going to fall of its own weight. So you have Supreme Court judges, all right? You have to do it for that reason. Now, number 2, evangelicals. I have been given tremendous support by the evangelicals. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I'd go to different places. I did great in Iowa, but then I'd go to South Carolina. They said, you can't win South Carolina. I think it was 68% evangelical, some tremendous number. And I won in a landslide. And they say he might not be perfect, but he's ours. I'll tell you, he's definitely ours. Well, it's interesting because Jerry Falwell Jr., who's an incredible guy, right at Liberty College, he was saying that his father had the choice between 2 people. One was a man who taught Sunday school every Sunday, Jimmy Carter, knew the Bible perfectly, everything was perfect. The other was a man that had a marriage that didn't work out. It was Ronald Reagan. And his father had to make a decision. Is it Ronald Reagan or is it this perfect guy, Jimmy Carter? And he said, I'm going with Ronald Reagan. And he took a tremendous amount of heat. How good was that decision? How good? How good was that decision? So I've had tremendous support. I've won with the evangelicals all over. We went to Alabama, Arkansas. You know, we won the whole South. It's been amazing. The whole thing has been amazing. So we have tremendous support right now for this final leg. And the problem is they didn't go out and vote for Romney. They didn't vote. If they would have voted, it could have been a different story. But they didn't vote. And you have to get out and vote. But I think with me, you're going to vote. And I think with him, you're not going to vote. It's very simple. So with the evangelicals, I'm sitting in this big conference room in my office with about 50 ministers, pastors, rabbis, with 2 rabbis, and great people. And they're powerful people, powerful, beautiful voices, strong people. And they're talking, and they're praying, and they're doing everything. And it's beautiful. And it was an hour up, and I could say, I said, boy, I said to myself, I've got the support of these folks. They really like me, and I really like them. So I said, I'd love your endorsement. They said, we can't do that. So what are you talking about? You like me. You're not going to endorse anybody else? No way. But we can't do that. I said, why? And they somewhat meekly told me because they don't want to lose their tax-exempt status. I said, wait a minute, what are you talking about? They said in the 1970s, Lyndon Johnson, very powerful guy, strong guy, smart guy. And frankly, I hear the reason was he was having problems with some of the churches, and he put this rule in. And he got it through because he was a strong cookie. And I said, so you're telling me that you can't endorse somebody that you really like and really have confidence because you can't get involved politically, and that if you do, you'll lose your tax-exempt status, which is a big deal. That's right. I said, wow. And I pointed down to the street, and there were people walking in the street, New York City, lots of people. I said, that means that all of those people have more power than you because you're not allowed to express a freedom that you're entitled to. You're entitled to express your thoughts, your feelings. I can't believe this. And I figured it out. And I said to him, I want to think about this. And I did research. And I said, if I win, we had another meeting a month later. I said, if I win, we are going to get rid of that Johnson Amendment. We're going to get rid of it. And remember this, and we didn't have it until the 1970s, so it's not like, gee whiz, this has been, 1776 stuff. We didn't have it until the 1970s. So if you look at what's going on with religion, and this is religion, this isn't just evangelical, this is religion. But if you look at what's going on, it's not going in the right direction. Because the ministers, the pastors, the rabbis, the people, this includes the Catholic, the priests, they don't have power to express their thoughts. So what I said, if I win, we're going to get rid. Now, that was 3 months ago. They love it. They never thought to ask for it. Did you ever have something happen where something happens and you sort of live with it, right? You live with it. Well, they've lived with us from the 1970s, and nobody's really thought of this. It's a little like some of the other stories I told you before. We are going to get rid of it, and we are going to give to these great people who we rely on and we believe in, we're going to give them their voice back, and religion will start to go in the proper direction. Because if you look at this country, it's going in the wrong direction. And by the way, we will be saying Merry Christmas again, okay? We will be saying. So I just want to thank you all. It's an amazing outpouring. And Iowa are special people. I have so many friends in this audience. Iowa is special. And I say at the end of some of my speeches, we don't win anymore, but we're going to start winning again. We are going to start winning again. We're going to win at every level. We're going to start winning again. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Have a good time. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.